So season 3, I've seen the first 5 episodes
Okay.
and amazing.
It's just out of the gate, super exciting. Lots of lots of action, as you know, like science fiction always kind of provides that. But it's just great storylines. Everything's kind of tightened up and a lot going on. Yeah.
I mean, even within that first 2 hours, you're just like answering almost every question we had from last season.
It just feels like you're not bombarded in a negative way, but there's so much information coming at you from like, I'm having a baby, and then there's the Valm, and then we're fighting the Espheni, and then you've got Drew or House in a wheelchair. There's so much, and yet it never feels like a soap opera. It always seems to have a steady pace. Build on it. You absolutely do. Yeah.
And so, what can you tell us about Anne this season?
This season, we come into the first episode where my water breaks and I go into labor, and then I have the baby, and the baby starts acting very, peculiarly. So there's a lot of questions there, and people sort of think that it's in my head and I'm going through maybe postpartum depression. But as a former pediatrician, I know that something is amiss. Something is definitely wrong.
Speaking of the baby, motherhood is sort of a big theme for Anne this season. How did you approach her this season versus last season?
Well, I last season I was pregnant in the finale, and a week later I got pregnant. So when I did the season, I was pregnant. I was 7 months or so pregnant when we started filming, and my life was living. I was living this parallel to my story, my character. So it was just, I've never been in that position before, and I found it really exciting, like really fun. I was always. I look back with such fondness. It was such a good time in my life.
How is it doing the scenes with the baby when you're...
I was feeling extremely maternal and hormonal, and so I definitely felt a connection towards the kids we were working with, and a lot of internal, feelings about if there was something wrong with my baby, how would I feel about it. So I had a lot to work off, because of what I was going through. And now that I've had the baby, I have even more to work off.
Are you looking forward to seeing the season and
I've seen the first 5 episodes, and I'm thrilled with it. I think our show's gotten so much more exciting. Just, I don't know if it's because we found our rhythm, or it's a combination of the writing and then Steven Spielberg, but it just feels so much tighter. There seems to be a smoothness and a pacing and rhythm that feels more compelling.
What are sort of the differences for you of playing Anne in season 2 to playing Anne in season 3?
Well, I think in season 3, the obvious ones is that I was pregnant, and playing pregnant is something I think I've done once before. Also, I think as a woman, I've really kind of come full circle. I mean, I had a baby, I lost it in the invasion, I fell in love again, and then I have another baby. But this time, there's something wrong with the baby. But it just feels like I've become more of a woman. I'm definitely, more of a seasoned doctor, and I've just grown up a lot through the invasion.
Is there a part of Anne that stays with you when you're out of work?
No.
Not out of work, I'm sorry.
When I'm not working.
No, you're not working.
No,
Sorry.
I don't think. No, I think I'm really good at separating my life from what I do, and I think it's really important that I do that. I deeply respect Daniel Day-Lewis. I don't know if I lived it that much, it would be so painful because of the subject matter. It's just 4 to 5 months of just a lot of intense emotions. And I don't take on the character, but maybe I do, and I don't know it. I think I'm able to kind of click on and click off.
I think that's a healthy way of approaching it.
Good. I need that switch.
If you could describe this third season in one word, what would it be?
Exciting, super exciting. It's a very voluptuous show now. It's got a lot. It's got a lot of curves. It's very full. There's a lot going on.
And how would you describe the relationship between Anne and Tom this season? Because of what is happening, I think there's sort of a new dynamic between these two.
I think their relationship on a subtle level is a bit strained, at least from Anne's perspective, because she misses him. I mean, bottom line is it just doesn't see him. So she misses him. She's kind of, yearning for him, and yet doesn't want to say anything. And then when the thing happens with the baby, I think Anne feels a bit isolated and alone. So I think when we pick up the 4th season, that'd be something great to kind of talk about, like, what Anne went through when no one believed her that their baby wasn't well.
And Anne also has sort of a new relationship with
No,
with Matt. Yeah.
It's so great this year that I get to have a couple scenes with Maxim, who plays Matt Mason. We have a bit of a confrontation and like a power struggle, a typical like child-parent power struggle, and then we make up as parents and kids do, and it's sweet. There's a real sweetness to him, and that comes through, and that really touches me, and all my maternal instincts were kicking in. And I think Anne's the other Mason boys are they're too old to be parented and to need a mother figure, but I think Matt is young enough that he still needs that in his life. So I'd like to see more of that.
Yeah, I really like that scene. That's why.
Yeah.
And what has been the most surprising part of being in a show for you these past seasons?
Just how long it's been. I mean, I've been in the show for a while, and I've gotten married and had a baby, and I've seen the show just change so much, and characters come and go. It's just been this long journey, and I think what's been most surprising is just how long we've lasted, because you never know when you sign up to a show, and how much better we've gotten. We've just continued to grow and grow, and to watch a show mature as you're in it is something that I'd never experienced before.
Speaking of that, what has the fan reaction been like?
I don't know. How does anyone know what the fan? Because I don't read. Yeah, I have people who recognize me from Falling Skies or say I really like your character, but I don't feel like it's not like I'm on The Walking Dead where people seem to go kind of crazy for the show. I feel our fans are very, they're quite tame in comparison.
Are they?
I don't feel the craziness. I mean, certainly when we go to Comic-Con and you see all the people in the audience, you feel the love. So
you talked also about Lourdes. Is it?
Yeah. So this year, it's great because Seychelle Gabrielle, who plays Lourdes, this is her year. I mean, she's just blossoming. She's becoming, she's a doctor now. She's delivering my baby. She's tattling on me to Tom that maybe I have postpartum depression. She's handling all this medical stuff, and she's just, really grown up and kind of stepped up to the plate because I have the baby and I disappear mysteriously, and she's a force to be reckoned with, and I'm really proud of her. And to watch her grow, she started the show, she was 17 or 18, and now she's 21, and I've just seen her. We've all grown up together, so it's fun, and we're very close.
Now, was there something surprising when you read the script for the third season for Anne that you're like, oh, I did not see that coming at all?
It wasn't what I read right away, but when I learned who the mole was. That was great. The mole was a really great. What was surprising? The fact that we were going to have an alien ally. I liked it. I felt like, okay, we are definitely stepping it up for in the science fiction world. Like that's a good treat.
Now, speaking of Cochise, I don't think Anne has any scenes with him. Really,
I didn't have any scenes. We had a couple scenes where we would our scenes were we had a scene where we were technically in it at the same time, where I come in and I leave and he shows up, so we saw each other that day. But I'm just such a huge Doug Jones fan. We all played what game, Taboo together, and he's just fun, and I love Cochise, and I wish Anne had scenes with Cochise, because how many times do you get to play with like an alien, so yeah, he's pretty great.
And my final question for you is, do you have a message for the fan as they get ready for this third season?
You just always hope you don't let anyone down. You hope that they find it just as exciting. It's hard to kind of keep people's attention. There's so many shows. But I think with, the Cochise reveal and some of the stuff with my baby and some of the political stuff on our show, that they'll like that we're doing smart TV and we're kicking it up a notch and not boring them to tears. I hope they're entertained.
I doubt you can be boring with that first.
Yeah, because you never want to be boring. No. Not in science fiction, because that's like death to science fiction. Yeah.